Well, thank you, friends. Shabbat shalom. Greetings to you all. I know Leora had an awesome birthday. Has a great trip coming up. There's lots of birthdays coming up, actually. Hope Nicholas has a great birthday. Fellows know the joy of entering the Great Pyramids at Giza and actually meditating there. Now, what a treat that is. What an honor. And it's a genius friend of mine's birthday in a few days. He's so bright. We all call him Einstein. I have a great one. Friends, I had a fantastic chat with a great scholar the other night, Yaakov. I learn so much every time I chat with him. He has studied the hardest topic any of us can study, and that is ourselves. And he recognized his fears, fought to overcome them, and become authentic to his soul. And that is what we all strive for. Authenticity, congruence, acceptance. A great example to every single one of us, my friends. We chatted on the 9th of Av, the day of infamy. And I hope you all took a moment to reflect on karma and intention, Kavanaugh. And if not, then do it now. And consider our own role as the captain of our fate. We are never victims. We control everything that happens in our lives. It is an opportunity, whatever you do it, an opportunity to use the date as a date of reflection. It's just about the only day in the year that you may actually read the Book of Lamentations, although probably most have never read it. It's not that long. So give it a throw at some point and take a look at it. It is when we reflect, when we think, when we meditate, when we contemplate, that is the time to come together and share spirit, energy, the gift of fellowship. So as friends, as a chavura, a fellowship, let us all join together to express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes and dreams and wishes that unites us all as we come together every week in this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach. So once again, please do go ahead and invite everybody you know, physically, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, to gather and share. From Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Come together. Hine Matov. Shetahim Gam. Yachad. Hine Matov. Shetahim Gam. Yachad. How good, how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. Community together. So as a community, let us all spread love, goodwill, fellowship to the world. And anytime there is an opportunity to come together to think about what's going on, there is a time to notice that there may be angst in our lives due to sad events, illness, frustration, whatever. Those are the times to bring renewal and goodwill and love and healing to the world. In helping others, we only help ourselves. It is during times of reflection, which this is, that we learn to share our love and goodwill with those less fortunate, with those who encounter difficulty, sadness. So let us all send healing, love, and goodwill to all in need of renewal, to those in need, to you, to everyone, for Irma, for Devora, for Kathy, for Sherry about to undergo her surgery, for you, for your spirits, for all the souls in need of elevation, for all of you, for healing, renewal, the kindness, healing, wishes, goodwill, and love that you all send out. It circles the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each and every one of you, me, Shabbat, Avoteinu, Makor HaBracha, Limoteinu, may the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Misha Barak, let us all have our spirits renewed. Every single one of us. And we all need renewal. And of course, what better time to be renewed than when the two great lights of the sky do special dances for us. And of course, I'm talking about the sun and the moon. And everyone is waiting with bated breath for the biggest show being the total eclipse coming on the 21st. That's the solar eclipse. But there's also a lunar eclipse. So both lights are performing this month. The lunar eclipse will be on the 7th. Now, we all know an eclipse only occurs on new and on full moons. Now, we have our lunar eclipse on the full moon. Now, that's when the moon passes behind the earth. So our order of heavenly bodies is sun, earth, moon. A solar eclipse, which we get on the new moon, is when the moon passes between the sun and the earth. And so we have the sun, the moon, and the earth in that order. Now, they've always been considered hugely significant spiritually, quite often dark, but they are considered extremely significant. And if you want to know any more about them, then please feel free to email me, ask any questions. But I do encourage you all, enjoy both of this month's shows. You know, and in fact, everybody has one of the eclipses somewhere around their birthday, and it's quite interesting to look up in some of the books what the eclipse happened to be and when it was in proximity to your birth, and what its meaning spiritually was. Now, this month's lunar eclipse just so happens to coincide with the 15th of Av, the Jewish Valentine's Day, the festival day of love. Now, it's a date so popular, it is booked well in advance for weddings. You know, it's like you want to register your kids for school the day they're born. Well, you want to register for a wedding on the 15th of Av as soon as possible because it's a really popular day. Once upon a time, I was falling in love, but now I'm only falling apart. Nothing I can do, a total eclipse of the heart. Once upon a time, there was light in my life, but now there's only love in the dark. Nothing I can say, a total eclipse of the heart. Well, there you have love and an eclipse, all in the same song, how apropos. And the 15th of Av just happens to be my anniversary. So happy anniversary, Rebbitzin. Thank you for all these great years. Now, this week we have fantastic Torah Parsha. And I say that all the time, but this week it is fantastic. Va'etchanan, and I implored. And I implored. It's a very powerful term. Here, in fact, it's the same phrase used by Joseph. And so this serves as a reminder of another report of anguish and begging. From Genesis 42:21, when Joseph's brothers are accused of spying in Egypt, they recall with shame, with guilt, that Joseph implored them to let him out of the pit, and they would not listen. They were haunted by that guilt. Now, Moses says that he implored God using the exact same word. And these are the only two occurrences of this word in the entire Torah, my friends. And just as the brothers would not listen, well, Moses tells us God would not listen. And we know that we're wrapping up the Torah because this is the farewell address of Moses. And so just as the Torah is about to end, a new theme begins. And the theme is of choosing life. It begins here and will be highlighted throughout the remainder of Moses' address over the next few weeks. And we're going to talk about it every time that we see it occur. And one of the most crucial laws of the Torah is actually given here as a preamble to all of this, one that has had huge repercussions over the years. Deuteronomy 4:1. You shall not add to the word that I charge you, and you shall not subtract from it, to keep the commands of the Lord your God, which I charge you. Now, this is an essential command. It governs the way Israel is to observe all the other commandments, and it establishes Moses as the sole interpreter of God. So one must use extreme caution in interpreting and expanding the laws of the Torah. We are told to reinterpret and to examine it on an ongoing basis in every generation, but it's a delicate task because in post-biblical Judaism, a principle developed that was known as building a fence around the Torah. What that means is someone might start to observe the Sabbath early, before sunset, so as not to risk violating the Sabbath by mistakenly starting late. Now, I've had this occur several times when friends started early but were not fully prepared, and they needed me to do a few things on their behalf since I had not started yet. And I think these days you're allowed an hour beforehand. But friends, there is a difference between sincere care for the law, which is done out of reverence for it, and extreme expansion of the law, which is done for other motives, whether it's because of fear or power over others. Doesn't matter. The law is presented in the Torah as divine, but it requires human strength and wisdom in order to carry it out. That is the tough part. And there has been far more added than people probably realize. Now, this parsha is well known really for two major events. The first of them is a recap of the Ten Commandments, the Great Epiphany, with ever so subtle changes. Some of you may not even notice. The question then becomes, are these additions? Now, one of the things you will notice is completely different from the original in Exodus. Here, the liberation from Egypt and the memory of slavery are invoked as the grounds for the Sabbath. In Exodus, the Sabbath is explained as imitatio Dei. Just as God rested after 6 days of creation, Israel is commanded to rest on the seventh day. In fact, the commandment regarding the Sabbath is the most different of them all. And I wonder if its main difference is because in one case, the commandments are by God, the Great Epiphany, and in the other by man, Moses, with the recap. Now, when God states the commandments, God identifies the Sabbath with the creation of the universe and the sanctification of time. But when a human, Moses, states the commandment, he identifies the Sabbath with history, with a divine action in human affairs. They are completely different. Now, Sabbath does come to have both dimensions, cosmic and historical. In fact, there is a Dead Sea Scroll text of Deuteronomy, which I'll find and I'll read to you at some point, which combines these and gives both reasons for the Sabbath. Now, this may explain why the text here begins this command with the words, observe the Sabbath, instead of the Great Epiphany's, remember the Sabbath. And it may be because it adds the words, and you shall remember that you were a slave at the end of the commandment, and so it would use a different word at the beginning. I don't know, I'm only guessing at that, but it is different. If you're not supposed to add, well, which ones do you follow? This is a different book, my friends. This is a retelling of the law. So the magic of God is not necessary in a retelling of the law. So it's a retelling with modification. Now, this book's not interested in anything other than following the law. Magic and mysticism of God are gone from here. They just don't appear. Now, the initial report of the Decalogue occurs in the direct narration of the awe-inspiring Sinai Epiphany, when God, descending from the heavens to make his words known to Israel, powerfully manifests himself as creator of both the heaven and the earth. Now, the present restatement of the Decalogue takes place at the moment Israel is poised to enter the promised land, establish a society, exercise power over others. It's under completely different circumstances. What was a firestorm show of sight and sound of the Creator is now remembered as sound only. Now, the people in this version of the story that stresses immediate witnessing have actually heard God's voice speaking the 10 words from the summit of the mountain engulfed in fire. They draw back in terror, presumably to the very bottom of the mountain or the approach to it, and make it clear as they implore Moses to serve henceforth as their intermediary. So the story succeeds in having it both ways, representing the people as having heard God's words with their own ears, firmly establishing Moses in his role as teacher and necessary intermediary between Israel and God, as he states earlier. Now remember, this is a book of words. It's what it is. It's a book of words, and everything is going to take us back to words. Words are formulated in the verb to hear, shema. And the Hebrew verb means to hear, to listen, to heed, and to understand. And this brings us to the second key part of this parsha, Deuteronomy 6:4. It gives us a single prayer, a testament to monotheism said twice a day. 6 words. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, Israel, the Lord is God. The Lord is one. 6 little words. Now, everybody who's Jewish learned this and its translation immediately, almost like our rite of passage into the cult. Hear, Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Now, we said that Shema here meant to listen, to heed, to understand. All of those are applicable in this one little sentence. But what did biblical man hear? Well, the words most likely would have been the exact ones written and not the ones we say. Now, what is written is not Adonai, right? We say Adonai, but what is written is actually the name which God told Moses to tell the people to say, which is Yahweh, the four-letter tetragrammaton, the Yud, He, Vav, He. The third person verb meaning he who created. Now, of course, we also know that Israel was a name meaning he who wrestled with God. And so biblical man heard, hear, listen, heed, understand. You who have wrestled with God. He who created is God. He who created is the one. It has a different meaning that way. And so this entire passage, forever since known as the Shema, has been aptly described as a catechism. And it fits its character as an exhortation to stick to God's teachings, such that it later became incorporated, like I say, in the daily liturgy, recited twice every day in Jewish worship. Now, this passage also goes on to become a reason for tefillin, which we're not going to address now. But it does tell you to love God, and love is becoming the new theme. And it has three crucial components to it. Deuteronomy 6:5. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your being, and with all your might. With all your heart. The heart is the seat of understanding in biblical physiology. But it's also associated with feelings. It's understanding. With all your being. Now the Hebrew nephesh actually means life, breath, or essential self. Now the traditional translation here of soul, which you'll still read in most translations, is actually a little misleading because it suggests a body-soul split, which was kind of alien to biblical thinking, but we're not having a discussion about biblical man's view of the soul right now. All your might, with your strength, your vigor, your energy. Very powerful little 6 words. Yes, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom, be well, be happy, and be blessed. Share and honor the light. All who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone, an end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we are a community. We learn together. We celebrate each other. We love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally. All of us equally. Let's send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, good healing to all who need it. And please do learn to forgive, learn to love. The 2 key things to life. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. There's nothing embarrassing about it. Take advantage of the time you have. Enjoy the journey. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our efforts to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Now, bless you all. Have a fantastic week, a week of love and light, a week of peace. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe. Now, remember, we set in motion all that happens in our lives. Our intention, our caveat, our cause, our effect, everything is linked. As I've said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You do have the knowledge of what is good and bad. So acknowledge what you've done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you have wronged, and ask forgiveness. Do so with sincerity, with accountability, with vulnerability. Forgive those you've hurt as you learn to be forgiving and to be a compassionate individual. Do not stop your journey. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. Keep on dreaming. Keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching, keep spreading your joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear. Follow love. It is always there in front of you. And remember to have faith. An unwavering adherence to principle, just as I have faith in the principle of love and in all of you. Now please act with purity of heart and mind. Despise none, defraud none, hate none. Cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all people know peace in this year. And may you nurture kindness and love everywhere you go. Work to be present in the body, my friends. Expand your heart. Quiet the mind. Because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness and mindfulness. The ability to be present. Be aware in all circumstances. Make the most of your time in this life. Recognize your ability to be a contagion of holiness. to touch and transform the lives around you. We touch so many people. You are forever blessed, and you have the ability to bring blessings to every single person you meet, health, love, renewal to everybody you come across. We are all energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. Friends, your words are your power to transform, to love, to be, to create all the things that you want to create. You think you've lost your love. Well, I saw her yesterday. It's you she's thinking of. And she told me what to say. She says she loves you, and you know that can't be bad. She loves you, and you know you should be glad. Now, that was a song that started a revolution of love. A song about words. Words of love. Make your words positive. Make them healing. Make them loving. Start practicing forgiveness now, my friends. It's the mechanism that brings peace and happiness and makes you one with the energy of all there is. There will always be someone by your side because I will always be there. Enjoy life, my friends, and spread the blessings you've been given. Embrace love, not fear, forgiveness, not anger, the great lessons of life. Be there for someone because someone is always there for you, whether you know it or not. Be happy, be healthy, be helpful, be kind, and be loving. Have an awesome Festival of Love Day. Until next time, Shabbat Shalom and blessings to you all. Take care. Bye.